So it is, I just had to record a video because I just had a really pivotal thought. 1993, 2003, 2013, and now 2023. I never realized until today, today's what, July 8th, 2023, that my new eras typically start um, at the 3. 1993, I had just come into this country. Well, 1991 I had, but 1993 was a really pivotal year for me. As a child, 1993, I was what, 8 years old? Yeah, I think in my story, I have a section from when I was 8 and 9. That was a really pivotal time. 2003, I just started my undergraduate, my bachelor's of arts. I just graduated from high school in 2003, and just starting university. I moved out for the first time on my own. I moved from Toronto to Waterloo, Ontario. 2003, I graduated from high school, and then 2013, that's when I left my job as a research assistant. No, as a research coordinator at Women's Health and Women's Hands, and I left Toronto for Ottawa. In 2013, I started my PhD. That was 10 years ago. So 2003, here I am. I don't know where I'm going to leave to where I'm going to go. But spiritually, energetically, this is a transition year for me. And I knew that. Last year, technically, was when the transition year began. And this is a year I'll be moving into something. I was starting a new chapter. I knew that. My life cycles, I think last year was 9, which is the end, and this year was a new start. And I knew that. I knew this is a new something, and I'm in a transition phase. But I never thought of it in terms of the past and as decades, as an era. Like right now, people are saying like the era of this is literally my new era. In terms of my stages of development in my life. So that's really interesting. I was just thinking about that. And just like today, I was just sitting out here, and almost as if the vibe is as if it's like a graduation for me in sort of a spiritual way. You know, it's like a funeral. I was thinking about Twitter funerals. I saw Angelica Ross post a picture, this gorgeous picture, wearing black, and that said, "I'm here for Twitter funerals." And I was thinking about the end of Twitter and how everybody's moved on to Thread and Spill. And this feels different. Like I've seen people come. I've seen what we've all seen it, not just I. I can't think of the different apps. Snapchat. I've never been on Snapchat. I've seen what's the new one you guys were going on where you did the audio recordings? I don't remember, but there's so many apps that have come and gone. But I feel like there's something about Thread and Spill, or there's something about this Twitter. Just it's the thread has cut. Like it's not holding on. It's the end. There's an end where there's new energy. We've all moved on to something new, and I think those like myself who were really stuck on to holding the past, we're starting to realize like we can't. This is a uphill battle, right? Regressives. I was thinking on my walk with the dogs this morning. The regressives will always be. It's like they heard me talking about them. Regressives will always be regressive. Like they fear moving into the past, into the future. And that could be a little bit like me, right? I could fear change sometimes. And okay, thank you, Indy. I see it. Indy, thanks. And it can be, what was I saying? This is going on for too long. Like, I don't, changes, overaggressives, they will keep you stuck in the past. Like, situations I've been in, this last decade was the most stuck I've ever felt in my entire life. I've never been this stagnant. I've never been this isolated. I've never been this alone. I've never had so much time to sit and think. I was a very busy body. Go, go, go. Um, on to the next, on to the next. Um, Overachiever. Move, move, move. Do, do, do. Like, like sitting was laziness. It was just, I've been, the last decade out of all of them has just been well, I mean, all of them were completely different, right? But anyways, not wanting to move, me wanting to keep it great again, whatever great was, whatever year back then that we're trying to stay in, it's not working. It's not gonna work. It stopped working, at least for me. And I don't know what I'm moving towards. I have no clue. I was thinking just now, I recorded a video last week, and I was talking about my dream house being in Ghana. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, that's not even the dream I want for myself anymore. And that's why I was having such a hard time, because I saw this house that I thought I wanted, and it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's absolutely something I would want for myself, and I would still want something like that for myself. But I think about the location, I think about how much it would cost me to get that. I was like, I said in the video, like, oh, my family house is just up the street, and I'm like, what family? You don't have a family. Like, those people are not your family. You know what I mean? Like, that's not your family house. I have to move on and start my own family, or find my chosen family, because that is not my family. Those people are not my family. My parents celebrated their anniversary yesterday, and they didn't hear from me. I didn't hear from them. Like, we don't talk. We don't have a relationship. I don't have a relationship with those people. Um, and I'm like, that's not my dream. That would be the most dangerous place for me to be. And that is the gag. Is the last 10 years I have called and made places home that were not for me, that were dangerous for me. I had so many friends who were foes. I was a foe. I was an enemy. I was my greatest enemy. I was surrounded by some of my biggest enemies, people who really did not like me, who really did not want well for me. Or maybe once did, but something switched up. And when it switched up, it was bad. And it's been bad. Like, really bad. Life threatening bad. Could have been fatal bad. And I still am trying to hold on to this thing. And it's like, how many times do I need to be saved from this thing, these people, the situation, these events? There's going to come a point where I am going to die if I continue to hold on to this thing, this idea, this image, this past. That's not my dream. That is not my dream. Like, if you think about it, could you imagine me living in Ghana? I could not be myself. First of all, I could not be a queer woman. I could not explore any sort of relationships outside of the heterosexual context. And that's not where I see myself. I cannot envision myself as a head cis man. I would die. I am like a black feminist. My ideals are not in line. This whole Keke Palmer thing, sis, that's not like, if you have changed. Keke is, yeah, maybe in a once upon a time they would have been equally yoked because some of her shit was wild. But if you see Keke lately, Keke's been talking about also liking girls. She's very queer lately. She's changed. She's a whole mom. Yeah, you are a mom. And that's why she needs to move her ass somewhere else, as somebody who's going to be like, yeah, girl, you are a mom. And look at you. Look at you. You have grown so beautifully. Like, are you seeing Keke right now? And the vibe is like, you're a mom shaming her? Nah, she needs somebody like, you're a whole mom. And she's been talking about that. I've watched an episode with her and who's the other guy? That was the one I thought she was really flirting with. They had great chemistry. What was that guy's name? I saw this interview with Keke and she was they had great vibes. And he really respected her, you know. She spoke so highly of her partner. But um, go where you are celebrated. Like, this is the thing. There are women who will gladly cover everything up, um, are not in the public eye, basic ass women, you know, like me, who don't do nothing, don't wear. We spend our days wearing covered hoodies, you know, just boring, 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 basic. Find those women. Why are you going after somebody like Keke Palmer and then trying to change her? And that's the issue with the last decade for me, is change. I was thinking also this morning, this year's theme would have been change. What I've learned is you cannot change people. And you don't even need to change people, because there are the people who've already changed. There is somebody who has already transformed. You know what I mean? Like, we're looking at his tweets from what, 2012, 2015? Reckless ass tweets. Same. If you look at my tweets, reckless ass tweets. But like, I can look at my tweets now and I've actually changed. Like, I've actually transformed. You know, people don't like me because they're like, you've changed. Who do you think you are? I have changed. I have. That was the whole point, was transformation, transformative justice. I saw Sonia Renee Taylor did this webinar I went to with, I forgot the Jewish woman's name. She does work around childhood survivors, sexual assault survivors, and she was saying people are obsessed with this whole concept of forgiveness right now, you know. And as a Jewish woman, she was saying how her religion asks of her multiple steps be taken before she even gets to atonement. And one of the first steps is like, the person has to acknowledge that they did wrong. They have to apologize. And then they have to change. There has to be that transformation. Like, somebody has to change before you can say, okay. There was a whole series of steps she listed as part of her Jewish religion that she observes before she can even think about transformation or forgiveness. And that was the whole point. Like, did he transform? Has he changed since those tweets? Because then you could be like, yeah. And I think sometimes people forget that. Like, people are acting like they've never gotten into a relationship and thought that this person had changed, or they would be the one to change them. You know, like, wow, this is who you were, now this is who you are. Okay. Like, but the thing is, most people don't change. Actually, we don't transform. Or we do, and then we're back on our bullshit. And I just also did a video about that, right? And so change, but I am at a point where we don't have to change each other. You're always going to be a conservative. Like, I look at people around me and like this family that I'm talking about. You, 38 years, you've shown me this is, you like being who you are. You've shown me, I've shown you over and over, this is who I am. I'm not changing, or I have changed, and you're not changing, or maybe you will change, or you have changed. But either way, the point is, we were not good for each other. Maybe once we were equally yoked, but we're not equally yoked anymore. And we have to recognize that. And I think that's what a lot of us are struggling with. Earth just had the hottest days. The energy is intense these days. There's a lot of energy. We've never had so much information circulating. We've never known as much as we do now. We're feeling more than we've ever felt. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of heat. The ozone layer is trash. Global climate crisis is just amplified, right? Like, there's a lot going on. And I think we are right where we need to be, and we need to veer off track quick, because where we're headed is not good. And that's what I'm realizing today. 2023, this is a new start. I have to do something radically different. I don't know what that looks like. I haven't been doing much. I've been very slow the last few days, and I think I need that. I'm okay with that right now. I'm going to take the vacation days. I'm going to take the sick days, because the energy is discombobulating, and I see, like, if I'm not careful, this is where you get God. If you're not careful, this is where you do the same thing you've always done, and it's going to lick you in the ass. And I'm not trying to get licked in the ass. I learned this time. I have changed. And there's a test for me, at least spiritually, 2023, going forward. I don't know what that looks like. But in my history, 1993, 2003, 2013 were huge, major years for me. I don't know about if they were for you, but that's what I'm thinking about today. It's just, we have to recognize maybe once upon a time we wanted that person. Maybe once upon a time we were very conservative. Maybe once upon a time we thought that that was okay. But that's not. We're not there. This is 2023. If we should have been doing the work.